Greetings, friends. These YouTubers who spout New Age talking points, one of them is Doughty. This video is called Holographic Divine Matrix. This controls reality.
What if you are an eternal spiritual being living a temporary human experience, and before you came to earth, incarnated in the body that you have right now, you forgot all of this information?
What if? What if not? Buy into our premise from the beginning. Just take our premise. Okay, again, I guess every religion you have to have some premises, okay. But can we ask why we arrive at that premise? Well, we have revelation in Christianity. What's your revelation? Well, a bazillion different sources that no one can exactly agree on, but the Vedas and this and that and everything. You don't get really a clear answer.
You forgot that reality is a learning school that you come to learn more about who you are.
Oh, let me just get into the right setting, and it's all the same. Reality is a game board and playing the infinite chance that through your consciousness frequency you will realize new pathways that have come to express themselves through the being that is your own self with the others through the principle of love, which binds together the universe. And by binding, we remember who we forgot we were. This is all just the same babble.
What if at the deeper levels, this is simply an avatar that is something you are embodying in this life to gain experiences, to progress?
Avatar, so you are some mental force. You are some spirit, which I guess there is a spirit. But the body, the body can be this, the body can be that. It's just a vehicle. That's why the Gnostics try to get away from matter, because they think there's something wrong with matter. It's just a vehicle, it's just a carapace, just a shell. I don't agree with that. I think that's an unhealthy way to look at the body.
To progress your own soul's growth to a higher level.
Higher level of what? How would this be better? On what standard? They would say what? A highly evolved consciousness, vibrating more clearly with love. They would give some vague answer like that. It's not really an answer, though. It doesn't clarify anything.
Now, in this video, what I want to share with you is some of the more esoteric information I've been learning that has completely changed the way that I view reality, the way that I view other people, the way that I show up in the world has completely shifted because of the things I share in this video.
With guys like this, every fifth or fourth video, pretty much every video, it's like completely huge claims about how this changed my life. It's a constant thing they do. This just changed everything. It's just supposed to gain people's attention and get them to buy into what you're saying, because this is something really important right now that you got to know. Even though they keep saying the same things again and again, they just sort of rearrange. These propositions are nothing new. These are the most uncreative people. These people can't create anything. They just regurgitate talking points that have been with us for 70 years now, at least, in popular culture.
It comes from an understanding of us all being connected to one divine mind. The divine mind, what some people call God, the universe, source energy.
Source energy. Energy. That's God. Oh, just energy. Is God a person? They'll always avoid the personhood question. They must collapse God beyond a person. They would say, oh, well, it was a person, but it's also the person who is you and I and all persons. So there is no God person. That's one thing the New Age has in common.
We're all a different aspect of consciousness that has fallen asleep.
Just abstract consciousness, energy. Where is the moral grounding for what is good or true or false? It's all just energy. Just a different frequency, man.
In this dream called life, to go through different experiences to learn different lessons. Some of those lessons being forgiveness, Some of those lessons being love, to experience the beauty of life that it has to offer.
I guess I would ask him, does it matter what lessons we learn? Does it really matter for our soul in any eternal sense what lessons we choose to learn in this life? I'll grant him that we learn lessons in life. Sure. I mean, again, that's just a vague thing that no one can disagree with on the face of it. Like half of what the New Age says is just like things like that, which aren't like anyone could agree with that. We learn lessons in life. But by what standard is it important to take a certain path in life or not?
But nonetheless, I want to share with you one of the most profound teachers I've been learning about recently. His name's Itzhak Bentov, who was a very interesting person that was an inventor and mechanical engineer.
This is where the New Age is at. For inspiration, they turn to technical experts, people who they think understand the physical universe, even though it's debatable how much a so-called science like quantum physics is even serious, because it's not physics like the way you would need physics to build an aircraft or design technology to dig mines. With quantum physics, it's not like that. People like Doughty, they'll look at scientists to give them spiritual grounding, or perhaps they'll look at psychedelics or shamans, and it's still the technological, materialistic lens through which they see the world.
He's someone that when he was young, he had this interesting story where he knew as a kid, he had a vision of his parents dying in the Holocaust. I think it was Prague at the time. And he then knew immediately, he had a vision of it happening, and he knew that his parents died in this Holocaust. He ended up leaving Prague and going to Israel, where then he worked in the army, and then he studied mechanical engineering and different areas of study that he had. He then eventually studied meditation. And what he would do is he would go into meditative states to learn about the universe. He was a profound consciousness teacher back in the day.
He was a consciousness teacher. What does that mean? It's so silly to be a consciousness teacher. So to teach people to meditate deeply and kill their egos and essentially do nothing and become like stones.
He passed away way too early. It's rumored that before he passed away, he was with his assistant, getting ready to get onto a plane to go talk at a consciousness event. And he said that nobody getting on the plane had an aura, which meant he knew that everyone was going to die. He got on the plane anyways and ended up dying because he thought and believed it was his time to go. As he knew or had this perception that this life is is a short life that we're having for an experience, but we're eternal spiritual beings.
That's a really messed up story to share. Think about what he just said there. This guy got on the plane and he's looking for people's auras. He's looking to see that. He's been taking so many psychedelics or meditating or focusing his brain so much that he's seeing these demonic frequencies of color all around. It's a real thing. I don't deny that this is real stuff that people can see. And then he doesn't see these frequencies of light around people, and he thinks that they're dead or they're like fated to die because they have no aura. And then you would go on to a plane knowing that it's going to crash, and you wouldn't warn anyone. You wouldn't use the gift of your vision to warn people and say, don't get on the plane. With New Age people, this happens a lot. They don't see something that's dark that's right in front of their face, and they think it's cool.
So I found it very interesting. Now here's a quote from his book called The Cosmic Book. I got this book, read it all in one night. It's only 100 pages. I read it all last night, stayed up kind of late. This is what he says. He says, the implications of this holographic model are monumental. It implies that all the knowledge in the universal mind is available to anyone who can tune into it. Because, as in all holograms, the information is totally distributed throughout the universe. We are all one. As above, so below, God is within you.
All knowledge is available to you if you tune into it. By tune into knowledge, are we thinking of like knowledge of history, knowledge of changes in the weather and principles of science, or that kind of knowledge? Could you tune into knowledge of how to be a better man? Could you tune into knowledge of how to be a better friend by meditating, by focusing your consciousness? What about by actually going out and being a better man or being a friend to someone? What about that? Why not do the actual thing and live rather than sit and contemplate and try to use magic to shape the world and control it? That's what this is. It's actually leading to magic. This is magic. And these people want to manipulate the world.
And the universe is in a grain of sand. Take on a new meaning when seen in the light of a holographic model. Now, what he also says is that our psyches form an interference pattern between each other with other units of consciousness in the universe.
See, totally impersonal. Not other people. People are just energy fields. People are just units of consciousness. They actually hate the person. Satan hates humans. He feeds the New Age because they depersonalize everything is against the person in the New Age movement. I know it's a vague category. It's the same idea with meditation and like the whole concept of killing your ego. That's against the person. It's like escaping. Someone who would like Koi Fresco or Vishuddha Das, that idiot, would say, I'm trying to escape myself or delete myself or something. That's a very troubling thing to say, that you want to escape yourself or delete yourself.
This universal mind hologram, or the absolute, and it contains all frequencies, and each level of consciousness can relate to its absolute reference beam, is what it says.
We live in a series of generations that have fallen for shiny lights in the sky, and what we imagine the sky to be. Shiny celestial lights. It's just literally what the peasants consume from the TV and the institutions. Just this light and that light. This is that and that's that. This is 1,000,000 years away, and this is not matter, and this is a black hole. But what are we looking at? Colors and lights.
Now, basically what it's saying is that we are all part of the universal mind of God.
We're all part of the universal mind of God. So why are you even using the word God at this point? It's just all collapse of categories. We're all God. So then how can you have any source or standard for truth and the good?
That what we have done is segmented ourselves into this avatar that we have to have an experience on life, to learn more about who we are. What we think of as other people is that of other aspects of our consciousness that we are interacting with, that also our energies within them we've simply forgot.
What we think of as other people are just aspects of our own consciousness. More or less, that's what he said there. How self-centered is that? I was going to say narcissistic, but I'm trying to get into the habit of saying less psychology terms, because I think a lot of psychology is nonsense. But there is this self-centeredness, like you would... He just told us that he looks at other humans in a depersonalizing way. He sees them as aspects that fundamentally only tie into his own mind. Which, of course, yes, this is a line in philosophy that was explored already in the 18th century. But it's certainly a very fruitless and isolating way to look at reality.
This was what makes it kind of funny when it comes to karma, because what we put out is what we get back, because what we do to someone else, we do to another aspect of our own consciousness. Now, here's an understanding about this as well that really has helped me understand more about reality, how to shift to the parallel reality that I want, or how to create using this holographic model of reality. And it has to do with understanding that of the bits of information that are around us at any moment. Now, what physics is showing us and what we are learning is that there's about 15 million bits of information around us at any given time. But we only perceive of about 40. of those 15 million bits.
He said physics is showing us that at any given time there are 15 million bits of information around us. And what is he basing that statement on? How is physics showing us? Like what? Yes, we're surrounded by stimuli, and we have to focus on certain stimuli. Otherwise, we couldn't walk and function. We couldn't separate things from one another. But I mean, physics is showing us that 15 million bits of it. Like what? How? What on earth is he talking about?
What if the 40 bits of information that we experience are simply the energy that is active inside our energetic field? And what if we only perceive of people and experiences in our life that are equal to that energy that is active within our field?
Well, I don't know what point he's trying to make there. Like the people we experience in our life are equal to the information that we are aware of in our energetic field. What on earth is he talking about?
Now, this is where things get very interesting. Because normally we have this pattern of focusing on changing outer reality, when in fact, there may be no outer reality. It may be that all reality is on the outside is a reflection of us on the inside.
Yeah, you see how this is insanity? He's just said there may be no outer reality. This is someone who could be under the highway on a lot of pills. There's too many it may be's, what ifs. There's a bit too much of that here. Why? You don't have faith in your own worldview? Why do you have to ask? You don't know? If you don't know, then you should just admit that you don't know.
I was at a mastermind event speaking at a friend's event recently, and there was a woman in the crowd that expressed to me, because I was talking about YouTube and creating content. It was like a business mastermind. And there was a woman in the crowd that expressed that she's afraid to put content out there because she's really afraid of what her mom thinks. Her parents think. She's Filipino, and in that tradition, as in many traditions, there's this very strong desire to make mom and dad happy. But as a result of that, she feels like she has this people pleaser pattern where she's trying to please her parents. Even though she knows she wants to express herself and she wants to put out content and she wants to share this aspect of herself, she feels like she can't because she won't get the approval or validation of her parents, and that's very important to her. Here's what I put her attention on. Who's to say that when you start expressing the real you, your parents will reject you? Your parents won't approve. We assume that because of past experience, but what if the 40 out of the 15 million bits of information?
Yeah, how are your parents not going to approve? They're just units of consciousness that through your own focusing and vibration, you can shape into the sort of parents you would want to have, approving of everything. I've had enough of this guy. Hasta luego, amigos.